Mike, and welcome to the workshop. This here is my desk. I made it a few years ago, planning to do a video on it. This entire desk is just made out of plain 4-size material that you could get at any hardware store. It's made entirely out of 3x1, sorry, and 2x1. And I said, when I made it, I said I'd live with it for a while and then make a video. And that was several years ago. If you are interested in seeing me make one like this, of course, I will. Because, you know, videos. So when I made this originally, I lived in an apartment. And the space I had was quite shallow because my desk was in my room. But with my new 2-monitor setup and the space that takes up, I end up working on like the front 6 inches of this. So I want to extend the depth. And also, I want to find a place to store all my hard drives and stuff like that where you're on the desk but in no danger of falling. So this week I'm going to show you how to make an easy tray that you can put on the back of your desk that will extend the depth and give you additional storage. So let's roll the intro! So here we have the basic idea. So what I'm going to do basically is I'm going to make a frame into which I'm going to fit this solid piece here in the middle, which will give my clamp a place to hold on to for my dual monitor setup, and these 2 lower pieces which will just be floating. That'll create a void for my hard drives and pencils and pens and such like that. And then this is just going to float in the back. It's not going to connect physically to the desk in case I need to make it smaller again for a different situation. So I'm going to place battens under the bottom of my desk, near where my uprights are, so they don't take away too much space. Those battens then will be screwed to the underside of the existing desk, the underside of the tray. That'll keep it all nice, rock solid and secure. Now of course you can do this with any desk. Now I'm designing this around my desk, but if I just show you here, if you had, let's say, a standard desk that you might buy from a famous Swedish furniture company that had a metal frame, all you would need to do is make your same extension box, the thickness of your top, and then create these battens a bit deeper so that they could notch around your frame and support your box. The important thing is that it's fixed well here on this side and here, as the fixings across the desk here is what support your back. So as I'm going forward, keep that in mind that this design can be updated for any design of desk that you may have. So the first thing I'm going to do is get it all down to thickness. Now we have our collection of bits that we need for this. And the basic idea of this is we're going to take one long piece either side. We'll be clamping this hard piece in the middle, and we'll rebate these in like that, and then complete it like that, making a box that will hold everything in. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go over to my chop saw. I want to cut out my 45s, so I know my length needs to be 100 here. I'm going to cut my 2 long pieces first, then I'll be able to measure for my ends. So that's what we're going to do.
But before I do any cutting here, I add a groove to all the pieces while they're still at their full length. This I just do with 2 passes on the table saw. This creates a groove for the bottom to sit in, so that groove goes in all the sides of the frame and on the ends of the middle piece.
You can see there now that I have that groove in. I could slide my bottom in and it'll be secure. That creates my little shelf then. Sorry, it's the spare room. That then creates my little pocket where my pens, pencils and hard drives will fit. So with that done now, I've cut this in along with the reason that I did this before I did the ends was I wanted to cut this as one long piece because it's much safer. So we're going to, so we'll grab our piece here. That's going to divide everything out. Making sure we keep our show size up. I'll just throw a clamp over that and then measures. And we'll just cut our end pieces. And the thing about cutting miters is, I'm using the end of this as my reference. In these cases, what you want to do is cut it a little bit bigger than you want, and then cut it into it. So I'll just make sure, now that I have this groove, I have to make sure that I'm using the correct top and bottom because we want it to sit into the groove. So I have my top marked on this. So I need the angles to go that way and that way. And that's 140 all but. So we'll cut that a little bit longer and then we'll fit that. That's a little bit long. I'll just keep taking little bits off until this is perfect. I'll do the same on the other end. And then we'll cut our middle pieces to length. Our side for our pocket. And here as well you can see I've done the groove on the end in this, so it'll accept it, and I'm actually just going to put a few biscuits in this groove to glue this middle piece in. So I'll come back when I have this all nice and fitted and everything is cut to size. The calculation for these lengths is very simple. What you're going to do is take your inside dimension here, which in my case is 945. I'm going to take away the length of this, which was 275. If I divide that by 2, then I get how much of this is showing. And I know I have a 2.5mm rebate either side. So I'll add 5 to that number. So I got 335, I added 5. So I'm going to cut it at 340. And then we'll test fit and see how it all goes together. Now we have everything cut. Let's do the test fit, shall we? So I have this lined up here. This will be my reference point. So the solid piece here I'm going to be clamping, holding in place with some biscuits. So clamp that down nice and tight, and we can slide in our panels. Okay, so that's a little bit of a variation in the cut there, but we'll be sanding these panels anyway before we assemble because we want to make sure these are as perfect as possible, because we'll be gluing them, or we won't be gluing them in place, sorry, we'll be staining them to match the existing top. All told, that is not too bad at all. So I now need to go, I need to cut my biscuits here to join this piece, and then I want to sand everything down as far as I can because I'll be staining all this to match the existing tabletop, and it's going to be very hard to sand the likes of this when that's done. And while that is gluing up, then we'll make our extension pieces that'll come on and hold this in place. So I'm going to get out my biscuit jointer and do a bit of zoom here now. So I don't know if I've ever actually showed you biscuits on this channel so far. So what a biscuit is this. It's a piece of compressed beech, and you use what's known as a biscuit jointer, which is basically just a flat saw, and it cuts out half of the shape of your biscuit on one piece, half on the other, and you insert it, and the biscuit then helps keep everything level and with the glue the biscuit expands and grabs it real tight. These are really handy, a great hidden fixing, and they're very strong. So when you're using biscuits, what you need to do is, what I did here was I marked on my pieces in alignment where I wanted everything. So I'll just disassemble this here now very quickly. You can see here I have my pieces here, my center line, which is going to be my mark, and I have these series of lines here. So I'll use biscuit jointer to reference on that. I'll drill a biscuit, cut a biscuit, sorry, into each piece here, and that'll allow me then to clamp this all together and it's nice and secure. Now do we have all our holes drilled? I'll blend my biscuits using those lines as line-ups just to make sure everything is correct depth, everything will close up. And that's it then. We'll apply a bit of glue and that will be as strong as houses. The way you go biscuits is, particularly here where I want everything to be flush, because of that vertical cut, everything goes in and you clamp it up, it keeps everything flush, and it's very hard to knock them out of flush as well. So I'm going to do a bit of sanding and then I'll do a bit of assembling on this.
So I find the key with biscuits is to make sure that you get glue everywhere. So I'll put glue in the groove, on the meeting faces and on the biscuits themselves. And here I'm being very careful to only apply glue where it'll be in contact. Obviously I don't want to have to try clean off that glue at a later stage, but as always I will clean up any squeeze out using baby wipes, and the miters then at the end, they get glue, but it's very important to not put glue on the panel. And anytime you put a solid panel into something, you want it to float in that groove to allow the timber to expand and contract. To secure the miters then, I just put in a few long brads. These will help keep it straight while it's gluing up and also add strength for the future.
So, thanks to a bit of sanding, this is now nearly ready. Of course, with this setup you could just get a few brackets and use this as a shelf. Just put it above your computer and in storage place. You can put all your hard drives and bits and bobs on it. But as I said, we're going to put this under my desk. So I've just cut out these two support pieces that will mount directly up into the desk and under this. That'll support it. As I said before, my desk doesn't have a cross rail top, but if yours does, you might need to make this heavier so you can notch out to go around the frame. So the key here is to measure the thickness of your top and then pick a screw that will go the thickness of this but not up to your top. So I'm going to do a little bit of checking and experimenting, but the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to drill, countersink all of these holes, and then we'll be ready to apply a bit of stain to this. That'll be something new, never applied stain in a video before, and this bit could get cut out if it all goes wrong. So just to be clear on this, these are going long side up, that's why I can have them thin, because all the stress is going to be up and down. It's very hard to bend it this way, whereas if I put these strips in this way, there'll be a lot more flex in it. So, now that they're drilled out, I'm going to apply some stain. didn't think I'd leave you bereft of Danish oil time, did you? Alright, quick one. Now they're all stained up in Danish oil, love. Let's put these on and assemble it. Oof, would you look at that colour match? You won't get that. 9 times out of 10 you won't get something that close. Now just one final thing, because I'm using a clamp onto monitor setup, I'm just going to add this little brace to the bottom to help spread the load of that out, so it's not relying upon the new top that I've made. So that just simply screws in here. It also adds a bit of strength between the two of these. Right, so that's this week's video, and in what I would consider a very meta moment for me, I'm actually editing it as we speak here. This is a fun little project. Like I said, anyone could apply it to their own desk. It adds some nice depth and also gives you a handy place so your drive and headphones and all that kind of stuff, so they're not rattling around the table. Importantly here now, I have enough space to work on my desk if I need to write notes or whatever. So yeah, like, share, subscribe and all that fun stuff, and absolutely do try this at home.